How do you define a cringe man baby in 2023? Harry, of course. Spare's revenge freak show, as dictated by Meghan, is just beginning. Whether you're talking about Harry's Oedipal obsession while he's applying cream to his private parts thinking of his mother, or Hollywood shutting the door on the couple, or the 3 horrific pages that left me speechless. All of it unmasks a hustler and her half-wit finger puppet, the hater. Now, Harry, here's a good rule of thumb. Never attack people with lies when the truth will destroy you.
His family's been so welcoming and of course, incredible respect for being able to have that time with her. And
like, I curtsied as though I was like,
They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But what happens when someone builds a bridge right into the heart of darkness? Is that a saint fallen to sin, or is that a devil finding his way home? What's going on, everybody? I hope all of you are having an amazing day, my friends. My best wishes to you and yours. So right now, while the media is spending their time spinning their wheels, slicing and dicing all the sordid carnival sideshow attractions of Spare, we're going to cut right through the rot and straight to the core and the heart of the matter. See, Harry's going on his global jealousy tour. He's continuing a temper tantrum to right the wrong as he sees it, because he was born the royal runt of the litter, and he's using personal truth as a weapon.
Whatever the cause, my memory is my memory. It does what it does, gathers and curates as it sees fit. And there's just as much truth in what I remember and how I remember it as there is in so-called objective facts.
So what he's saying is, however he remembers it, right or wrong, those are the facts. Those are his words, not mine. He's not even allowing reality to matter anymore. And that's because he's basing everything on the woke mantra of personal truth, which uses truth as a tool, a weapon to target anyone over anything. No evidence required, no proof needed. A simple, immoral recipe that redefines reality based on personal ambitions. See, that's why it doesn't really matter whether it's the hustler talking or the hater. The Markles, in their minds, I believe they can say anything.
my name is Meghan Markle, and I'm here because I think it's a really important campaign to be a part of. You know, a couple years ago I heard someone call my mom the N-word. So I think for me, beyond being personally affected by racism, you know, a couple years ago I heard someone call my mom the N-word.
Much later.
I'd never in my life heard someone say the N-word. Very different to be a minority but not be treated as a minority right off the bat.
How many lies is that right now from Meghan? Is that 1,001? But it doesn't really matter. The unwritten rule is whenever Duchess Doolittle opens her mouth, she's going to be giving you her best dumbed-down D-list performance to package herself and sell herself as a perpetual victim of everyone else's attacks. See, that was a little secret that the couple brought together. These sinister soulmates tried to convince the world that the royal family and every beloved British citizen were racist. But see, every deception has a cost. And other Markles right now are making a lot of money off their bold-faced lies. It's their grandiose boasts which have consequences and impact everyday ordinary citizens. And that's the complete opposite of what Harry was sharing with ITV's Tom Bradby.
Knowing the monarchy as I know it, from something that I was brought up in, for me, it's always been about uniting people.
I really feel sorry for all the mice in Harry's head who are exhausted from running around in circles. In one breath, he's talking about unity with everybody, and in the next, he's arrogantly puffing up his chest, poisoning the United Kingdom's political well. Iran cites Prince Harry's book in defending its decision to execute a British Iranian citizen. Now, for all of you who are sitting on the cheap seats supporting Harry and Meghan, you need to pay attention closely. See, Harry's book, Spare, has now been used as a public relations pawn by Iran, and they can pull it out anytime they want to execute the next British citizen. But let me ask you this. Tomorrow, what other hostile nations are going to come out and use his words to justify their assaults on the Commonwealth and UK citizens? Have you thought about that for a second? You support him, but you got to think through the consequences. Has Harry thought about it? Has he had a press conference and said, you know, I apologize. My words are actually jeopardizing people's lives? No. He just continues to whinge on about Queen Consort Camilla changing the room that he hasn't lived in 10 years over at Clarence House into a dressing room, or talking about William had a larger room at Balmoral than he did, or whatever other sundries that he's bitching about today. But the fact of the matter is, Harry, outside of your walls of your Montecito mansion, there are real monsters around the planet. See, not everyone makes up these Hollywood-style fantasies about imaginary sufferings from a privileged pajama boy and his spouse who's still brokenhearted over the fact that she didn't get to realize her dreams of becoming a Hollywood casting couch queen. The truth is, you're not selling books as much as you're sowing chaos.
If I want to play polo in my living room, who's going to stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
But there's good news. It's the fact that every one of your attacks, Harry, so far on the royal family has failed. Everything you have planned for the future negative against them is going to go down the drain for a simple reason. Right here in America right now, before anyone had ever heard of Megaflix and Megathon, before Spare ever hit the bookshelves, see, there was a polling agency, and they found out that about 45 to 47% of the country, they supported both of you and Meghan. They didn't want you to have your titles pulled, but all that's changed. Those figures are turned upside down in just over a month, with 45% now in favor of Harry and Meghan being stripped of their titles, 26% opposed, and 28% responding don't know. You can see, my friends, your voices have been heard. Be proud of that. And Harry, you better get used to the fact that the royal family's going nowhere. They're not only going to survive, they're going to thrive, because the UK and her people do not stand alone. They do not stand alone because we stand with them. And if you want to help me to continue shine a spotlight on these fly-by-night fools, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button, share with your family and friends, and hold on to your seats as we're working on some exciting news in the coming weeks. Now, there's a little bit more good news. Hollywood is finally turning their backs on the couple.
Dahmer became the third highest viewed show on Netflix with a combined watch time of 1 billion hours, which apparently is the same amount of time we're going to have to listen to Prince Harry talk about his frostbitten penis. It's enough already.
See, Harry and Meghan's big plans are backfiring big time. We already know the half in, half out with the royal family. It's history. We're never going to hear about it again. But it's their sweetheart studio deals that are disappearing. See, Hollywood, I found out in all my research, has pulled the welcome mat. They're shutting the doors for a simple reason. See, Harry and Meghan haven't been receiving invitations to any of the top A-list parties or any of the star-studded functions. They're not going to the Oscars. They weren't invited to the Beckham's wedding, how William and Kate were, and they didn't even attend the 60th birthday party of Obama, who's supposedly their best friend, with Jay-Z and Beyonce and Tom Hanks went. Tinseltown does no longer trust him. Obama doesn't want Meghan to run for office, and she keeps talking about one day she wants to be president. Why? No one trusts them because they think they're going to spill the beans for a big paycheck on any number of intimate private conversations. The last thing, it's also the fact that they want to be a Hollywood power couple. But that doesn't only take wishing, it takes hard work. Let's take, for example, any one of their production deals. Like their last Netflix show, Live to Lead. It crashed in the ratings and was even trashed by Nelson Mandela's granddaughter. Mandela's oldest grandchild, writer and social activist Nandileka Mandela, told The Australian she was unhappy with Harry and Meghan for name-dropping her grandfather for the project, saying people have, quote, have used his legacy because they know his name sells. Harry and Meghan are no different from them. See, the couple have no shame. Harry, least of all. Here is a man who tried to rebrand his privileged life into an old tale of a pauper prince. And then he went and had the gall to go out and share how many brain cells he burned by munching on magic mushrooms till Courtney Cox's trash bin came to life and started speaking to him. And then a few days later, went by the ocean and had a sanity testing seaside chat on a one-on-one conversation with the moon.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
But what really takes the prize is the fact that he got high during Meghan's delivery.
A canister of laughing gas beside Meg's bed. I took several slow, penetrating hits. Meg, bouncing on a giant purple ball, a proven way of giving nature a push, laughed and rolled her eyes. I took several more hits and now was bouncing too. When her contractions began to quicken and deepen, a nurse came and tried to give some laughing gas to Meg. There was none left.
William and Harry were much different. I remember Princess Diana being in the kitchen one day and the boys had just been in chatting away and the princess says, you know, the boys are so different. William's deep like his father and Harry is just an airhead like me. Yikes.
Completely agreed, Chef. Harry isn't the brightest bulb in the pack. But we're talking about the delivery day of his child. I mean, this is the woman he turned his back on his entire family, and he's sitting here sucking down the entire canister of laughing gas. It's beyond the pale. Now, in my opinion, I'm not an attorney, but I asked a few of my friends who are, and I asked them what happens under California family law if a couple ever get divorced, like if Meghan decides to beat feet and make a hasty retreat outside the marriage. With all his gloating and boasting about drug use, where do the kids go? And they're like 100% with Meghan Markle, period, end of statement. They said worst of all is the fact that he would have to have supervised visits and he would be drug screened and humiliated 2 or 3 times a week. But here's the catcher. Meghan, you know how she would do. She would use the kids as leverage against the crown.
Is he worth this?
So if we set aside Harry's drug addiction, which he proves in the book by any shadow of a doubt outshines any love he has for Duchess Doolittle, we know one thing, that he still has an addictive personality, and he's addicted to this manic melodrama, which he'll do anything, even invent illegal acts.
We left the hospital with our unborn child, a tiny package. We went to a place, a secret place only we knew, under a spreading banyan tree while Meg wept. I dug a hole with my hands and set the tiny package softly on the ground.
Now, I checked throughout the United States. It is absolutely illegal, and Harry and Meghan would be arrested now if it was true that they walked out of a hospital or snuck out a miscarried baby and then went and buried it. Besides the fact, no rational human being would ever share that fact or make up or pretend that they ever did such a thing, let alone write about it in a book. But see, I think that Meghan is using the memoir as, like I said earlier, she's trying to set up Harry. She's painting a picture with him, I think, by pressuring him and manipulating him to include certain facts as a fallen prince, as a prime candidate for the rubber room. But there's something else that caught my attention. It was the dedication and the acknowledgments, and they've kind of gone under the wire, hidden, unnoticed by any major media people and any content creators. See, what I realized was how much Harry despised his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, after all the time that she showered him with love and affection and attention. And he's tested her superhuman patience, God bless her soul. And then I understood exactly how distant he was from his grandfather, Prince Philip, the man that he attests to saying that he completely adores. See, the dedication is the one opportunity for Harry to set all of his anger aside. Remember, blood is thicker than water, and to open his heart and to tell the world who's nearest and dearest to him. Well, you know, Meghan Markle wasn't going to miss the chance to allow anyone else to take her spot on the pedestal. So the dedication maids had Meghan Markle, the 2 children, and Princess Diana. That's it. Any word about Queen and country? Zero. What about the prince that passed? Silence. But it is the acknowledgments that shine a real light on Harry's heart. And the reason why I call him the hater, they left me speechless. Now you're going to say, George, with all the stories that we've heard, with everything in the book, the consequences of his words and having a dual British citizen killed by Iran, his drug use, making up a miscarried baby that they buried, whinging about everything under the sun, even about 3 pork sausages versus his 2 because William got them. Forget all that. All the attacks on his family, the acknowledgments say everything about Harry. They unmask him to his core. Because no matter how many lies and false fables he makes up, you could say on one hand, that's a broken man who volunteered to be manipulated by Meghan Markle. But when you get to the acknowledgments, when you have the dedications, you're talking about the core of a grandson and how he feels about his grandparents. And what do we get? The exact opposite of what he tells the cameras.
I love my father, I love my brother, I love my family. I will always do. Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been any intention to harm them or hurt them.
Now, did any of his words prove out there? No. All false, 100% lie. But Harry wasn't done. 2 more pages he had. 2 pages of acknowledgments where he highlights 138 names from everyone in the publishing house, all those who worked on the audiobook, everyone in the Archwell Foundation. You have medical professionals, coaches, therapists, people in the military, friends he loved and talked about and said, I'm going to owe you a beer. Then you even had people in the ghostwriting staff, the faculty and students. And finally, you get to some celebrities in the Hollywood hive like Oprah, Tyler Perry, who he loafed off of, and James Corden, who used to throw him softball questions during the interview to shine up his image. And then I stopped for a second. I'm like, I did a double take. I'm like, did I just read the words grandma? Was I wrong? Did Harry actually have a piece of dignity, any type of honor in his bones? To my mother-in-law, a.k.a. grandma. Nope. I wasn't wrong. It had nothing to do with Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. It had everything to do with Doya Raglan, his mother-in-law, and now the new woman that Harry has bestowed the title upon her as grandma. And that sickened me. That and the next few sentences where he proved himself to be nothing more than a beta male bobblehead, going up, doing everything he can to kiss Meghan's backside, talking about how he could be nothing without her, the world would stop spinning, and yada, 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 yada. I told y'all a few videos back that Harry married Meghan to use her as a murder weapon against the crown. What did he do for his grandmother and his grandfather? He gave them 3 pages of savage silence. It was a direct kamikaze attack against the monarchy. But the phenomenal news is that the royal family stands tall. They are resilient in their radio silence. They are continuing to go on walkabouts, take meetings, and help charities to empower the public during these critical times. And during this whole thing, they're showing people how to fight honorably. So we remember that we never bow down, we never bend the knee. Always forward.